Men weren't supposed to break like this. That's the lie everyone believes, that men are built for pressure, that they can absorb unlimited stress, rejection, humiliation, and silence without consequence, that they're emotionally armored, that they don't need reassurance, that they don't need tenderness, that they don't need purpose spelled out. But what no one talks about is this: men don't shatter loudly, they collapse quietly. They don't scream for help, they withdraw, they don't announce their breaking point. They disappear into themselves. And right now, across cities and countries, something invisible is happening. Millions of men are reaching a psychological edge they never saw coming, not because they are weak, but because modern expectations have created an impossible equation. Men today are expected to be emotionally intelligent but not emotional, confident but not arrogant, assertive but not intimidating, sensitive but not soft, strong but not dominant, ambitious but always available, protective but never controlling, successful but humble, romantic but not needy, stable but spontaneous, traditional when it's convenient and progressive when it's demanded. Every move is judged, every silence is interpreted, every mistake is amplified. And no one ever pauses to ask what it feels like to carry all of this, while being told you're privileged for breathing. The old contract was simple. If you worked hard, built competence, developed strength, and provided value, you earned respect. You earned family, you earned partnership. You earned your place. That contract is gone now, replaced by ambiguity, replaced by shifting standards, replaced by emotional roulette. Men are still told to improve themselves, but no one explains what they're improving toward. There is no finish line anymore, only moving goalposts. A man can spend years building discipline, hitting the gym, advancing his career, developing social skills, healing childhood wounds, reading psychology, learning communication frameworks, becoming financially stable, emotionally aware, and spiritually grounded, only to discover that none of it guarantees connection. None of it guarantees loyalty. None of it guarantees respect. The promise that self-improvement leads to fulfillment has become hollow. And when effort no longer produces predictable outcomes, motivation dies. This is the breaking point. Men don't talk about this because they've been trained not to. Vulnerability is encouraged in theory but punished in practice. When a man opens up too much, he becomes less attractive. When he expresses confusion, he becomes less masculine. When he admits loneliness, he becomes invisible. So he learns to stay quiet. He learns to internalize. He learns to swallow frustration. He learns to solve problems alone, until one day he realizes he's been alone the whole time. Modern relationships are no longer built on mutual sacrifice. They're built on emotional performance. Men are expected to constantly prove their worth through attention, validation, novelty, and emotional labor, while being told they shouldn't expect anything in return. They're told love should be unconditional, but only one side is asked to change. Men must adapt, evolve, unlearn, relearn, reflect, regulate, communicate better, listen deeper, express softer, while being reminded that their struggles are self-inflicted. The message is subtle but consistent. If you're struggling, it's your fault. So men try harder, they become more agreeable, more accommodating, more emotionally available. They suppress their instincts, they soften their edges, they compromise boundaries, they give more than they receive, they stay longer than they should, they tolerate disrespect disguised as empowerment, they absorb blame disguised as accountability. And slowly, something inside them erodes. Desire fades, drive weakens, identity fractures. They stop feeling like men. Not because they lost strength, but because they lost permission to have it. At the same time, society demands men remain providers in an economy that's crushing them. They're told to compete in markets that are oversaturated. They're expected to achieve in systems designed for instability. Housing costs rise, wages stagnate, career ladders disappear, job security evaporates. Yet the expectation remains: become successful or be invisible. A man's value is still measured by his usefulness, but the pathways to usefulness have narrowed. So men delay commitment. They delay marriage. They delay children, not because they're immature, but because they're terrified of building on unstable ground. They've watched friends lose everything in divorces. They've seen fathers replaced. They've witnessed loyalty evaporate overnight. They've experienced relationships turn transactional. And they've learned that emotional investment is a liability when the rules can change without warning. What no one tells women is that many men aren't avoiding relationships. They're avoiding risk. They're avoiding being emotionally bankrupt. They're avoiding becoming another cautionary tale. This is why so many men retreat into isolation, into gaming, into work, into gym culture, into podcasts, into self-improvement loops, into stoicism, into silence. It's not escapism, it's self-preservation. When the external world feels hostile, men build internal fortresses. But even fortresses crumble. Men are burning out at record levels. Testosterone is declining globally. Depression rates are climbing. Suicide remains disproportionately male. These aren't coincidences. They're symptoms of a deeper psychological fracture. Men are losing their sense of purpose in a culture that no longer knows what it wants from them. They are told masculinity is toxic, yet society still relies on masculine traits during crises. Strength is condemned until it's needed. Leadership is criticized until chaos appears. Courage is mocked until danger arrives. Then suddenly men are expected to step up. And they do. They always do. But afterward, they're forgotten again. This creates cognitive dissonance. Men are simultaneously told they are the problem and expected to be the solution. That contradiction eats away at the psyche. A man without purpose becomes restless. A restless man becomes angry. An angry man becomes withdrawn. A withdrawn man becomes invisible. And an invisible man becomes dangerous, either to himself or to society. The breaking point isn't dramatic, it's quiet. It's when a man stops trying. It's when he stops dating, stops dreaming, stops imagining a future, stops believing effort matters. It's when he chooses numbness over hope. It's when he says he's fine and means nothing by it. Modern culture celebrates independence, but men were never designed to live without brotherhood, without direction, without responsibility. Strip those away and you don't get freedom. You get fragmentation. Men don't need to be fixed. They need clarity. They need structure. They need respect. They need environments where strength is guided, not shamed, where discipline is rewarded, not mocked, where boundaries are honored, where effort leads somewhere tangible. The truth is uncomfortable. Society changed faster than male psychology could adapt. Men are still wired for meaning through contribution, protection, mastery, and progress. But those pathways are being eroded while expectations remain. That's the breaking point no one saw coming. Not a rebellion, not an uprising. A quiet withdrawal. A generation of men stepping back from a world that no longer feels like it wants them, except when it needs them. And until this contradiction is addressed, the silence will grow louder. Men will continue disappearing. Not physically, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. Because when a man no longer knows what he's needed for, he stops showing up. And that is far more dangerous than anger.